Hello, this is Andy Mitten here. I'm in Los Angeles and I'm at my mate's house in a very smart part of the city called Hollywood. Can't quite believe I'm saying that, but I am. He's putting me up for 4 days. He's an Italian lad who I used to play football with. And I'm in Los Angeles because Manchester United are here. I think I've been to LA 5 times and 4 of the times were with Manchester United. The last time was 3 years ago, 2014, when Ander Herrera made his Manchester United debut. I've been sent a lot of questions in from United We Stand readers. Please feel free to send some questions. I've not done this before. I'm going to experiment with a couple of YouTube videos. Just got the first message saying hello. Hello. Tell me where you're from. Please feel free to put questions to me. I was at the United training session yesterday. I also saw Jose Mourinho speak. He spoke at length to the media. And Jesse Lingard also spoke as well. And today I'm going to drive through Los Angeles, about a 70-minute drive down to Huntington Beach. I'm going to meet some United fans down there, mainly expats, and then I'm going to go to the Hub Centre, whatever it's called, where LA Galaxy play. And they're playing tonight against United in the first pre-season. That kicks off at 7 o'clock. So I'll drive there. It's a huge city. Everything seems to take an age to get to. And I arrived late on Thursday night, completely jet lagged last night. Woke up at 3 o'clock this morning. Couldn't get back to sleep for 2 hours. But I'm looking forward to the game tonight. And then from here, I'm going to go on to Salt Lake City, where United will play Real Salt Lake, an MLS team. And then I'm going to go to Houston, where Manchester United will play a team called Manchester City. They've won the English League one more time than Huddersfield Town. And that'll be the first Manchester derby outside of the UK. I actually know some Blues who are going to that from Manchester, family as well. But I know a lot more Reds who are going. And I'm going to fly north to San Francisco for the game against Real Madrid. Real Madrid are featuring very prominently in United's pre-season. They're here in LA, they're staying very close. I can see the questions coming through, this is great. And United will play them not just in Santa Clara, but also in Skopje. First question came through then live, and I've been sent a load as well from United We Stand's website. Eric Dier, are United after him? I think there's 2 things happening here. It's a strange one because I think the agent wants a bigger contract for his player, and I know some people at Tottenham. I know a couple of players at Tottenham as well. There's only one Tottenham player, as far as I understand, earns more than 100,000, and that's Harry Kane. And Dier is done all right, but I'm not going to go further than say all right. And I've not watched him every week, but I know people who do. I know people who know him well, and he's not even playing in his favoured position, not even the first choice at Tottenham. I've been speaking to lots of different people at United. What I know for certain is that Jose Mourinho wants a holding midfielder, and so Nemanja Matic likes him. He's not going to talk about him publicly. Would sign him, no problem. And he was also asked yesterday about several other players, including Alvaro Morata, and he's quite respectful. He said, look, I can't start speaking about players who are contracted to other clubs, but he definitely wants one, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Ed Woodward, which I don't think is always appreciated, by saying in public that he wants 2 more players, but also he's briefed in private. And if you do that against your boss, I can understand why Mourinho's doing it, because he wants his players in there in time for the season to start. There'll be no 6th place finishes this season with that being considered acceptable. So he's putting pressure on Woodward. Woodward has not come out to LA yet. He's not even certain he's going to come out to America. Maybe he'll come next week. Barge Walk, next question. Can I just try and work out how to see the questions that are coming through? Okay, not done that one rightly. Can you send that one again? And I'm going to try and work out how, when the questions come in, to answer them. But yeah, Woodward's not even definitely coming out. His priority is to stay in Europe and to get the signings done, which Mourinho wants. We're only a month off the Premier League signing now. the squad looks strong, big as well. I was really taken by the size of a lot of the players. Barge walk, here we go. Does it look like Mourinho's setting for a long stint at United? Should we expect a Latin hissy fit after 2 or 3 years? Well, when Mourinho spoke to United We Stand, he said he wants to be here for the long term, and he knew that there's a lot of clubs he can't go back to now. He can't go back to Real Madrid readily because he's been there, done that. He's managed at Chelsea twice. You look at the clubs who can actually afford him. Syria is now becoming more peripheral. Not that my mate who lives here thinks that, because he's an AC Milan fan. So I think Mourinho's intention is to stay for a long time and build a dynasty and value the longevity and patience which he'll get at Manchester United. However, history would go against that. He's often burned his bridges, fallen out with a lot of people. I hope he does stay. I think his age is fine. He's in his early 50s. He strikes me as someone with a lot of energy. And Manchester United simply can't keep changing managers as frequently as they have done in the last 4 years. Doesn't suit the psyche of the club well. Maybe it works at Real Madrid where the sporting director brings the players in, or at Barcelona, but United have been very uncomfortable changing managers because each manager comes in with his own style of play and forces it, and it didn't really work with Louis van Gaal. David Moyes struggled for various reasons, so I think that Mourinho certainly intends to stay. Andrew McCarthy, hi Andy, Real Madrid being linked with De Gea again. Do you think United can hold on to him? United certainly want to hold on to him. They're under absolutely no pressure to sell him, no pressure to do any favours at all to Real Madrid. And so United can do to Madrid what other clubs are doing to Manchester United, which is say no. I don't think De Gea's unhappy at all. I watched him with his mates. He's quite happy playing at Manchester United, but he's from Madrid. His family are in Madrid. His partner's in Madrid. Real Madrid are Real Madrid. They're not a village football team. They're the current European, world and Spanish champions. So much as I'm a Manchester United fan and a Manchester lad, you can see the attraction there, and I think it's inevitable at some point that he'll try and play there. However, from De Gea's point of view, if Madrid are to go out and sign a goalkeeper now, they're not going to want him for a year. When clubs sign goalkeepers, they want them to bring stability and to stay at the club for a long time. And you can almost see De Gea thinking, it's now or never. Not quite now or never, because he's going to be Spain's #1 goalkeeper probably for a decade. Keylor Navas is very popular, but Madrid are used to players almost forcing themselves to leave the clubs they're at, and I don't think De Gea's going to do that. Hey Andy, it's Philip from Skopje. Are you looking forward to the Super Cup? Hi Philip, I remember you, mate. I'm looking forward to coming to Skopje. I saw a few United fans when I was there a couple of years ago. I went to Belgrade. Here's my mate Andrea, who's just walking round. Say hello to Man United fans, mate.
Hey Man United fans, how's it going?
Yeah, you're an AC Milan fan, yeah?
Big time, big time.
How are you going to do this year?
Well, I mean, after Bonucci, been great. Just need a striker now. And
so you think Bonucci is one of the best two defenders, central defenders in the world? You were very happy when he signed the other day.
Very happy, very happy, yes.
Do you know anything about Perisic, the Inter player? Because Manchester United have been strongly linked to him.
Not really.
And how do you feel as an AC Milan fan? 10 years ago, you were the best team in the world. Now you're not.
It was unbelievable. I mean, like from the stars to, you know, like the ground. But now, I mean, in 1 month we signed, what, like 10 players? So, pretty excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you've got money now? And you've bought
somebody has money.
Yeah. And you've got one of the best players from Juventus as well.
Yeah.
And they've been the best team.
Yes. And so, you know, I mean, like,
with Pogba and Evra, people with Manchester United links.
We got one of their best players, and for the Italian Scudetto, we're definitely contended.
We'll watch AC Milan closely next season. Andrea's married to an Irish girl, and he's a good footballer. Yeah, you can go. I wasn't even planning to put you on the video, mate. I just thought as he was stood there, and he's very excited about Milan. But yeah, looking forward to the Super Cup. It's not easy to get to Skopje. I'm flying via Tirana and getting a bus via Lake Ohrid. to Skopje, and then I'm going on via Sofia in Bulgaria. But yeah, it's a decent city, and I just hope United do themselves justice against Real Madrid and not get hammered. But then we're going to get an early indicator of that in Santa Clara a week today. Barge Walk, any news on the development of the South Stand? Or does our £500 million present for the Glazers disclude anything like that? I know United have looked at a lot of options for expanding Old Trafford, because they have to make changes with increasing the size of the disabled area, and that's caused problems. As United fans in the scoreboard end who are not happy about that. And I got told United had looked at 29 different options of what to do with the stadium to expand the stand. The South Stand is problematic. Engineering has advanced in the last decade, but nothing has been decided yet. GB Matani, any word on Stamford training sessions a week from now? I don't know. I only just got received an email from Real Salt Lake confirming the accreditation. That's 2 days before the game, as I'm not sure about United training at Stamford. As I understand, United is staying in LA. I'm flying to Salt Lake, back to LA, flying to Houston, back to LA, and flying to San Francisco, and then over to Washington. Don't take my word for that, but that's certainly what I understand. They're definitely coming back to LA twice. Some other questions, Remo, and some of these questions are light-hearted. Another one, Block Party. When it was leaked Jose was coming to United, where did that leak come from? From United or from Mendes? It definitely did not come from Manchester United. So that is the answer to your question. It seemed very disrespectful that Louis van Gaal was told that he was going to be dismissed within 10 minutes of winning the FA Cup. United didn't intend it to be that way at all. Remo, would you allow yourself to be adopted by Cristiano Ronaldo for £2 million? Well, it's a weird one, isn't it? What do you say to my wife? I've got to live with Cristiano Ronaldo. And I can see it's a good question, and I can see that a lot of people would probably say yes to that. Isn't there a lad on Twitter who is like a Ronaldo stalker, follows him everywhere, or turns up at the training ground, has his hair cut like him and that sort of stuff? Maybe that's one which is definitely for him. I've got loads more questions here. Please keep sending them, and when they come up, here's one. Good Life Philippi says, do you think even if we get all our targets, Matic, Perisic and a fullback, we'll be after another marquee signing? I suspect not, but wouldn't be surprised if late on United were offered a player and took him, in the way that Radamel Falcao came sort of last minute. But I also think Ed Woodward is much more experienced and sure of himself and what his manager wants than he was. United have got money. They don't want to be held to ransom. Other clubs know they've got money, but it's down to Mourinho. He's very reluctant to give any information away. But United have been helpful with journalists. You know, if you ask a question, you get it answered straight away. The thing is, there's more than. Would you be surprised if Ronaldo comes out of the closet? How can I answer that one? No idea. He's got a girlfriend anyway, and she's pregnant. So, any chance of youngsters like Andres Pereira, Timothy Fosu-Mensah and Axel Tuanzebe playing this season? That's from Mikos. I know that they're all rated. Tuanzebe especially. I spoke to Nicky Butt about him last week. Really, really well rated. He's massive as well. It's a sign of this Mourinho team. Big players. Olsen 11, how do you think Joel Pereira will fit in this season? So at the moment he's number 3 goalkeeper. Andy Axon, I'll come to your question in a second. Pereira's very highly rated. Sam Johnson's been allowed to leave again. He's not on the tour. Sam's a good lad, but I don't think he was ever going to make it as a Manchester United goalkeeper, and he knows that. I spoke to him about it. he's just ready to play football every week. So Andy Axon wants to know, how close were Chelsea to getting Lukaku? They certainly wanted him. They certainly put money in for him. I think United working a deal where Wayne Rooney went back to Everton helped United's case. Paul Pogba definitely helped United's case because he's good mates with Lukaku, and the strength of United's relationship with Mino Raiola also helped United's case. So those three factors led to him coming to Manchester United. He's massive, you know. He's absolutely massive. I just hope that he can score and get them goals which turn all those stupid, frustrating home draws into home wins. Please keep the questions coming through. Nick wants to know, if Dr. Dre called you up and asked you to be part of his new supergroup, what would your rapper name be? I love United We Stand readers. I love the people on our website. They get me into a lot of trouble. I haven't got a clue what my rapper name would be. Someone suggest a rapper name. Do I look like a rapper? Olsen11, how much benefit do you reckon companies like Chevrolet get from sponsoring United shirts? Are they on billboards around the States, or is it just a case of sponsoring them as to not to miss out on possible exposure? United for me will always be synonymous with sharp electronics. I'm reading Martin Edwards' book at the moment, the former chairman. It's not out yet, but I've been sent an advance copy, and he talks a lot about the Sharp deal and then being a Manchester company and the first sponsors of Manchester United. It's quite interesting. I'm legally not allowed to say any more than that. Chevrolet get with Manchester United global exposure. United are massive in emerging markets as well as established markets. So you put Chevrolet on the front and it's seen by hundreds of millions of people in India and Indonesia, in the Far East, in Nigeria. Big markets in Brazil, although they've got restrictions on their imports which make American cars quite expensive. But United do chase the dollar. They come here a lot. It's the 7th visit in 14 years because there's money here. The training facilities are good. The players like the anonymity. They can go out and about. The manager likes it a lot. The organisation's very good. The market stands expensive ticket prices. Tickets are really dear for tonight. $150 to sit behind the goal for a friendly. So it's miles more expensive than United against Liverpool at Old Trafford. Even the cheapest tickets are miles more expensive. But the promoters feel like they've got to get the money back. Do you mind if I have a sip of my coffee? Don't normally drink coffee out of cups that size, but that's my Italian mate for me. 17 minutes gone. Right. Got some more questions. What do you think Bill Murray whispers to Scarlett Johansson at the end of Lost in Translation? No idea. No, I'm not going to tell that story either. I'm not going to answer that question either. And there's the next one. Was the charge of the Light Brigade simply a glorious failure, or did it actually achieve some objectives in terms of creating a myth about the British cavalry in the minds of the Russians? From what I've read about it, it was an act almost as suicidal as invading the beaches of Gallipoli. But I'm not here to talk about World War I and what preceded it. Come on, Phil Lemoyes. Suppose you take a wrong turn and end up in Compton. Well, that'll be today because I'm going there today. You run out of petrol, your phone's died, and you find yourself stranded in a dangerous part of town. There's a gang of natives not too happy with your presence. Which United player, past or present, would you most want to have as your backup in the passenger seat? And if you have time, how do you see that scenario playing out if it was you and your dad? I like that question. Patrice Evra. Without a doubt, he's absolute nails. I've got to see him quite a lot this season in Marseille. He's hard. He's a hard bastard. Nicky Butt's a very hard lad as well. So Evra, if it was my dad would probably like the idea of a fight. Miss Andrew McCarthy, do you like the idea of Carrick as the next captain? Yes and no. I think he's been a brilliant servant. I think he's a great lad. I just prefer the captain to be someone who plays every week, and I'm not convinced Michael Carrick will play every week, but I saw him yesterday and he's clearly respected. He looks great. It's amazing that just over a year ago I didn't think he'd have a future at the club, and maybe it would have been bold, but I quite like the idea of going for Pogba or Herrera, and I know Pogba liked that idea as well because I wrote an article about it. Patrick Merrigan, Julia Roberts has been caught hanging around the changing rooms. Was there a failure of security? Well, look, imagine if you're security, you're a Manchester lad, you've been told to come and mind the team. I think there's 12 of them here. And Julia Roberts comes and wants to get past you. You're just going to let her past, aren't you? But I have noticed a trend here. I think she might fancy Marcus Rojo. Philipsas, Macedonia. Oh, he's very generous. He's saying that if you're struggling for accommodation in Skopje, go onto the United We Stand's website and he can help you. The Macedonian Reds are really trying to help because hotel prices, and I've looked, they're so expensive. I've not even booked a hotel yet. Block Partier, the Sunday Times, Matt Hughes ran a story in January that Rashford was storing on a deal. That was rubbish, right? Matt's a good lad. He's a good journalist. He's a Huddersfield fan. He's very close mates with the Clark brothers, who are match-going Manchester United fans. But I think that Marcus Rashford is definitely keen on staying at Manchester United. If you go back to January, he wasn't figuring as much as he did at the end of the season. I think he went from September to April without scoring a league goal. And as long as he's playing, I think he'll stay at United. And I think that was more agents or people close to the player pushing so that the player got what the people close to him thought he was worth at Old Trafford. If that sounds convoluted, it's because it is. What bakery item would Romelu Lukaku be, says Pancho Tom. What's big in a bakery? He's massive. He's absolutely massive. I've just been looking at not just the height of the United players, but the weight of them as well. And he's the only one over 200 pounds. The next heaviest is Sergio Romero at 196. 3 questions, says Law Best Charlton, who's a regular on United We Stands forum. It's a good website. If we have bits of information, we put them on there, often in advance as what you'd see on the media. Do you think De Gea will be a United player in September? Yes, and I would have said no in May. How do you think Pogba will perform this season compared to last? I think he'll improve. He's enjoying it. He's becoming more confident, and I think he'll get better, more influential. His low point was probably Liverpool at home when that emoji came out by the side of the pitch. Can you hear this, by the way? Is it sounding all right? Because you ever tried talking to yourself for half an hour? It's a bit odd. And where are people from who are watching it? I'm quite interested. And maybe I'll do a few more if you think they're worth doing. Because I'm at all the games pre-season, and I'll be speaking to lots of different people. Andy Axon, which of the centre halves are getting moved on this summer? That sounds good. Cheers. I would say Chris Smalling would be the favourite to get moved on. And if you would have asked me a year ago, I would have said Marcus Rojo. North London Reds there. Denton. Are you driving round a bend when you leave, or are you going straight out of Compton? Straight Out of Compton was an album for Run DMC? No? Dublin and Ireland, David Phelan. Straight Out of Compton. Gonna get hammered if I've got that wrong. I know it's a famous album. Eric B and Rakim? No? UK transplant at Stanford. I'm just getting messages. Toronto, got a red ear from Toronto. Send some more questions through. I've done 24 minutes. I'll aim for half an hour, and I'm going to drive right the way through LA to Huntington Beach, meet some United fans there. Play the kids, Jose, is Redra Fenix's message. I think he will. I think he'll give all the players time on the pre-season. That's the idea of it. And he made a point yesterday. He said these are training games, so he knows they're here for commercial. Stavanger, Norway is Aslak Anastad. I watched United in Stavanger, mate. Got an overnight train there with a ticket that I don't think was fully valid. Am I planning to be at any fan events in San Francisco, San Jose? I've not been invited to any. I've been invited to ones in Oslo in a couple of weeks, so I'll be there, speaking to the United fans there. I don't know whether my mate from Stavanger on here. Kingston upon Thames via Hyde. There's another person watching. And I think I've been invited to one in Skopje as well. What else do we see? There's tickets on sale for all the United games still. Crumpsall, Bad Boy Banson. Good that there's Manchester lads on here. I've got to meet a few lads from Manchester and Salford shortly. I think the fans here, there's a mixture of expats and people who are from Los Angeles, and they're quite different. And I saw that last year in China. A load of Reds from Perth, Australia flew over 9 hours, proper Manchester lads. And then you had all the local Chinese fans. I've just been in China as well. Travelled with the class of '92 lads. I went to Hong Kong, Bangkok, Cambodia, Shanghai. 4 countries in 4 days. And I wasn't as tired as I feel now. I still feel completely jet lagged flying to here. Any more questions? I've got 5 more minutes and then I'm going to hit the interstate for a 70-minute drive. And then from there I'm going to go to a tailgate party outside the StubHub Centre. Robbie Keane was a big hero there. David Beckham, Steven Gerrard. I think he did well there, although I can't pretend that I followed Gerrard's career particularly closely. But it's a new ground for me. I've never been to it. I've seen United play in the LA Coliseum in 2003. I remember Varane that well. Do I think Morata's still needed after Lukaku? I don't think they're going to go out and buy another centre forward at 60-70 million quid. I just don't. I wouldn't be surprised if they bought another forward. And I think one thing I've learned with United is never burn the bridge. You know, when Ander Herrera didn't come, didn't mean United lost interest. He came a year later. Antoine Griezmann has not just become a bad player who's not of any interest to United. Timing is very perfect. Do I think Ibra will sign a new contract? Mourinho spoke very positively about that happening. I think you can almost relate it back to the previous question. If Ibra's coming back in October, November, and he's Ibra, and he'll do well because that's what he does, then they're your forwards. I think Martial needs to improve. He needs to kick up the backside sometimes because he's clearly hugely talented. I really like Marcus Rashford. Any truth on Morata dyeing his hair red because he thought he was signing for us? No idea. Aren't there clickbait websites that tell you that sort of thing? I'd be very surprised. Morata, I watched him first of all playing for Real Madrid's B team against Barca's B team, and he was getting hammered by Barca fans, about 11,000 people there, who said you're never going to make it at Madrid, go and join Getafe. They even had a song for it. I think he proved them wrong actually. And I spoke to people who played with him in Juventus, and they said he's very good, but he needs a lift. He's a confidence player. He's not like Ibrahimovic, where it's sort of self-confidence, self-assured arrogance. And I don't think he's at the level of Benzema. Luis Figo was talking to some United players recently, and he said as much. But then Madrid are never going to sell Benzema any more than Barcelona are going to sell any of their free front players. Does Antonio Valencia speak English? No. Should do, shouldn't he? Because he's a good lad, very popular among the Spanish speakers, speaks some English, but after a decade in England, he really should be capable of doing interviews in English. He just should be. The Brit in Santa Clara, 22nd at 8 PM. Problem is I'm staying in Chestnut Creek, I think it is, north. So that's about an hour's drive away. So given how much I'm travelling on this trip, I'm only here for 11 days, got loads and loads of travel to do. And you know what, when I landed on Thursday night, I got an email. We'd like you to travel with the Barcelona team on the team plane for their full pre-season. all paid for, good work, writing about them. And I thought, come with United, and I'm a United fan, and I don't regret that. But I did think, have I made the wrong decision there? I think my wife would definitely tell me I've made the wrong decision. But you can't help what's in there, can you? I watch United loads. I watch Barca loads, sorry. And I know they're brilliant. But I'm a United fan from Manchester. I watch Barca and I see them play brilliantly and I feel nothing there. I can see that they're fantastic. They're, as a journalist, they're a good club to deal with. And really helpful. But when I got that, after flying into LA on a budget airline, I did think, you know, a trip with Barcelona would have been that, where everything's done for you as well as a journalist. Like here it's the opposite. I'm on the outside. But United are helpful. And I quite like keeping my independence. It means that if a player's an absolute bag of crap, you can say that. And I think that it's quite important that a journalist is able to do that. I think you've got to be impartial, you've got to be objective. I think my loyalty lies with United We Stand's readers and the people who read my work, to tell them the truth, or as close to the truth as possible. You'll often be told things in confidence and you can't mislay that confidence, but I think the more you know, it means that when you write and say what you do say, it helps you, because you don't say the wrong thing. You might get things wrong. You might say that United are in for a player. Well, in fact, even there, fans get frustrated with you if a player's not signed, but being linked with a player doesn't mean that the player's going to be signed. United have probably looked at 40 players this summer. They've got like a pyramid system where they have number 1 target in a certain position, number 2, 3, 4, 5, and Woodward is charged with getting them. So United will now say that Lukaku was a number 1 striker. Why does Gordon Ramsay cook such small portions of food? Adam Stewart, don't know, never been in one of his restaurants, never tried plain food at Heathrow, heard it's good. Doesn't he live over here? And then United will say Lukaku's a number 1 target, but I'm sure if they would have said Morata, they would have said the same. There's double speak in football. I've been going 32 minutes. I'm going to do 3 more minutes before hitting the interstate. And picking up my credit card, which I very foolishly left in a bar I went in yesterday morning for breakfast. Rang them back last night. Yeah, we've got it. Who's a big United fan? Julia Roberts or Gary Oldman? Don't know, but Gary Oldman met Paddy Crerand yesterday and treated Paddy almost as with a sort of reverence and level of fan worship that I've not seen since Cristiano Ronaldo went up to Paddy. Great that Paddy's here, he's in his late 70s now, he's got a huge enthusiasm. He came to sit next to me in the press conference yesterday and he sort of put his hand into my ear. What's he saying? And everybody heard it. And then some of the journalists were asking Mourinho questions in Spanish, so Paddy expected me to be his personal translator. Sandman, how's Rashford looking? Hello Sandman, familiar name on United We Stand. I think you're a Manchester lad in Dubai, if I'm not mistaken. Rashford's looking good, he's looking sharp, but be wary of players who look sharp pre-season. Obviously it's better to look sharp, but Jordi Cruyff was often the best player pre-season for United, and in his words, I was like a bear, I would hibernate in the winter. I thought that was a lovely line. Jordi's doing very well now. Merrick, try to think of Steve Bruce or saying the alphabet backwards. Discuss the pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre is Glenn's question. I went to Norwich last time United played there, and for the first time properly had a look around the city centre. It's really nice. Do you think any Matic deal is realistic? Philip asks. Well, yeah. If you have any interviews is another question. Can you reintroduce the horse question? I will try. And we are doing podcasts. I'm going to do a podcast today. That'll be out on Sunday. If you didn't listen to the last podcast I did, then it's got gigs, skulls, but Neville on it. It's decent. United fan here just saying about Norwich. He was there in '76 when the roof was pulled down. Yeah, I've heard all about that. I wasn't there. I was only 3. Is it just as important to see big improvements from Pogba, Mata, Mickey and Martial? They're all talented, but we need far more consistency at this level. I totally agree with that. I think when you're picking out moments from players in a season, that's not good enough. You've got to be 8 out of 10 every week. That's what marks you out as a Manchester United player. Every team has players who has moments. Even with Rashford, he's finished the season really well, but he had a bit of a down period. Same with Mkhitaryan. I really like Juan Mata. I think he's a great lad as well. But I think all the players you mentioned, Martial especially, they've got to up the level. You can't be being a 6 out of 10 one week and then a 9 out of 10 once a month. It's got to be 8s and 9s all the time. The league table does not lie. 6 is not good enough. Nowhere near for Manchester United. I've done 36 minutes now. It's 11:11 in the morning in Hollywood. Don't think I'll ever be doing one of these or a podcast in a location as glamorous. So remind me of this when I'm doing a podcast at Stoke away, when it's pissing it down. But I don't apologise for that. I've enjoyed speaking. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Do you want me to do another one? Do you want me to speak to you when I next get a strong Wi-Fi connection? Maybe from Salt Lake, do one from Salt Lake City. And please spread the word. And feel free to put any questions on United We Stand's forum. There's a really good community. One each day. I can't do one each day, GB, but maybe I can do 3 or 4 from this tour. And you know, I have been meeting people from. I met someone from the club yesterday for 3 hours, so I'm being kept abreast of what's been going on. So thank you very much. Please cut me some slack. It was my first one, so if the camera angle's a bit like that, it's not because I was out till late last night. You know what? Last night my mate took me out, who you saw. Brilliant. Out in Los Angeles. Not normal for me. I've got 2 young children. My social life's nowhere near what it was. And I was knackered. I had to come home. I was absolutely knackered and jet lagged. So I came home in an Uber, because everyone uses Ubers here, and I felt a bit guilty about using them. Take care, everybody. Spread the word if you think this has been worth listening to. I'll get a podcast up on Sunday morning. I'll charge my phone up, and I'm going to get in my hire car now and drive from Hollywood to Huntington Beach, then up to the Stub Centre. Meet plenty of United fans today. Write about it. I'll put the piece from the match on my Twitter. And if you've not bought the Summer United We Stand, get lively. It's selling really well, I'm pleased to say. Although our distributors have just said they're calling it a day. But we'll find new distributors. So really appreciate your feedback there. And that is it from me. I'm going to press stop. Not sure what's going to happen next. Maybe Julia Roberts will come on your screen. Maybe not. Until next time, and I'll advertise when I'm doing it. Goodbye.